Next we go to this one.
Explore hand-picked hotels through the edit.
Pokemon fans, and welcome to another entry in our weird and creepy Pokedex entry series. While us Americans collectively gained thousands of pounds during this week's Thanksgiving, it looks like the new Pokemon have been expanding as well. While literally any Pokemon can become an instant skyscraper-sized kaiju at a moment's notice with Dynamaxing, there's a handful of extra special big boys that even change form with Gigantamaxing. As usual, I dug through the new extra-large entries to find ones that I found weird, creepy, funny, and violent.
I'm not a fan of this version of the Pokedex. It's literally just a cell phone.
Compared to Pokemon's typical lighthearted tone. This big boy technically doesn't stumble into the world until next week, but Gigantamax Snorlax definitely got a huge chuckle out of me. Terrifyingly strong, this Pokemon is the size of a mountain, and moves about as much as one as well.
Sick burn on freaking Snorlax.
Man, it took this dude almost 20 years to stand up once, but now Gigantamaxing is gonna keep it grounded for life. You gotta admit though, that's a pretty sick Torterra cosplay. Another normal type Pokemon that struggles with its newfound Wumbo is Gigantamax Eevee. Having gotten even friendlier and more innocent, Eevee tries to play with anyone around, only to end up crushing them with its immense body. Eevee just went full Clifford the Big Red Dog. I mean, I get it. My big dog still thinks he's a lap dog, but at this size, any cuddling is just gonna end up in straight up homicide. There's also a sinister side to Gmax Eevee from its sword entry. Gigantamax energy upped the fluffiness of the fur around Eevee's neck. The fur will envelop a foe, capturing its body and captivating its mind. It's so fluffy that it can mind control its prey? Don't let this cute face fool you, this thing is a menace. But you know what's crazier than mind controlling one Pokemon? How about mind controlling everyone? Gigantamax Orbeetle. If it were to utilize every last bit of its power, it could control the minds of every living being in its vicinity. Every living being? Giant Orbeetle is on some next level Lulu. No, not this one. This one. Another Gigantamax Pokemon with mind problems is Toxtricity. This Gigantamax form technically isn't available yet, but its Pokedex data is in-game, and a ton of you guys requested it on the last video, so what the heck. Out of control after its own poison penetrated its brain, it tears across the land in a rampage, contaminating the earth with toxic sweat.
Gross.
So instead of controlling the minds of others, this one literally loses its mind. Wait a second, this is starting to sound like my old Mega Evolution is Evil video. Are you telling me that using the power from an ancient being to warp creatures to the size of buildings just might not be an ethically good decision? Gigantamax Garbodor's Pokedex entry also features seeping poison, but this time the one getting poisoned is you. It sprays toxic gas from its mouth and fingers. If the gas engulfs you, the toxins will seep in all the way down to your bones. That's disgusting. Pretty much every other entry we're gonna talk about today has a horrible way to kill you, so yay. Here's Gigantamax Kingler. The bubbles it spews out are strongly alkaline. Any opponents hit by them will have their bodies quickly melted away. Well, it
doesn't, bases don't actually melt. They eat away at things.
At least it's a quick death. You are still melted, but hopefully the process is fast enough where you won't even feel it. Remember the hats from our last episode? You know, the ones that'll kill you for having a strong emotion of any kind? Well, it turns out that the bigger the hat, the bigger the death radius.
If you're too loud around it, you risk being torn apart by the claws on its tentacle. This Pokemon is also known as the Forest Witch.
Hatterene, this Pokemon can read the emotions of creatures over 30 miles away. The minute it senses hostility, it goes on the attack. 30 miles? That's like, almost all of London or whatever. And if you want your death to be a little sweeter, Gigantamax Alchemy's got you covered. It launches swarms of missiles, each made of cream and loaded with 100,000 kilocalories. Get hit by one of these, and your head will swim. Fun fact, but what we traditionally call calories with a capital C are actually scientifically kilocalories. The more you know. Anyways, believe it or not, it has already been asked what would happen if a person ate 100,000 calories in a day, and here's what a nutritionist had to say. We are simply not able to eat such amount of calories in a day. When you severely overeat at one sitting, you will probably start vomiting, and long before that, you will feel discomfort and nausea. If that won't stop you from eating, your stomach will probably burst at some point. I'm pretty sure that the organs will get damaged in the process. Before you even eat a quarter of those calories, you will likely be admitted to the hospital with some kind of intoxication or organ failure. Damn. Didn't think I'd ever find death by cake on one of these entries, but hey, the Pokedex is always here to treat us to something new. And for those interested in a classic creeper, who better than Gengar to live up to its terrifying standards, now in jumbo form? It lays traps, hoping to steal the lives of those it catches. If you stand in front of its mouth, you'll hear your loved ones' voices calling out to you.
Jesus!
Rumor has it that its gigantic mouth leads not into its body, filled with cursed energy, but instead directly to the afterlife. Leave it to Gengar to give us a new form that not only looks terrifying, but is terrifying. That is right out of a horror movie. I don't think I can find a Gigantamax entry more devious than this one. I mean, who's even left? Ooh, Big G Machamp looks pretty tough. One of these Pokemon once used its immeasurable strength to lift up a large ship that was in trouble. It then carried the ship to port. Huh. Okay, show's over. I guess they're not all evil.